The throne of Israel sat empty, but the kingdom was far from united. Saul was dead, but his blood still flowed through the veins of his son Ishbosheth. And in the city of Mahanaim, Saul's old general Abner placed a trembling crown on Ishbosheth's head. "You are king now," Abner said, his voice firm. "Saul's dynasty will not fall." But outside those walls, the kingdom whispered a different name: David, the man who had slain Goliath, the man Yahweh had chosen. 2 kings, 1 throne. And so Israel fell into civil war. For 7 years, battle raged. David ruled Judah from Hebron, while Ishbosheth, weak and uncertain, clung to power in the north. Armies clashed, rivers ran red, but David grew stronger, while Saul's house grew weaker. And then, the war ended, not with a battle, but with betrayal. Abner, the very man who had put Ishbosheth on the throne, switched sides. He saw that David was Yahweh's chosen king, and so he rode to Hebron, knelt before David, and pledged his loyalty. "Let there be no more war," Abner declared. "Let Israel be one kingdom, under your rule." It should have been the end, but blood demanded blood. David's commander, Joab, burned with rage. Abner had once killed his brother, and Joab, a warrior of vengeance, did not forgive. The very night Abner pledged his loyalty, Joab struck him down. David, furious, cursed the act. "This was not my will," he swore before all the people. But the damage was done. Without Abner, Ishbosheth was a king without a shield. And when men smell weakness, they strike. It was the dead of night when 2 of Ishbosheth's own captains crept into his chambers. He never even woke up, a dagger in the heart. The once king fell silent forever. By morning, his killers rode to Hebron, triumph in their eyes. They threw Ishbosheth's severed head at David's feet. "We have avenged you, my lord," they declared. They expected a reward. They expected praise, but they had not learned who David was. David rose to his feet, his voice like thunder. "You thought I would rejoice?" His eyes burned. "You murdered a man in his sleep, a man in his own house. You are no better than Cain, who slew his brother." The room fell to silence. Then David's hand came down. "Kill them!" And so the betrayers were executed, justice for their crime. With that, Saul's house had fallen. The war was over, and all Israel turned to David. From every tribe, the elders came. From the mountains, from the valleys, from the farthest corners of the land. They gathered in Hebron, the city that had sheltered David through the war. And there, before Yahweh and the people, they knelt. "You have led us in battle. You have spared us in war, and Yahweh has spoken, you shall be our king." At last, David was crowned, not just king of Judah, but king of all Israel. The shepherd boy who had once stood before a giant now stood before a nation, and with his reign, he would change Israel forever. But first, he needed a capital, a city worthy of a king, a city that could never be claimed by one tribe alone, but would belong to all: Jerusalem. The Jebusites laughed when David's army approached their city. "You will never take this fortress," they sneered from the walls. "Even the blind and the lame could hold it against you." David simply smiled. And then he struck. Through a hidden water shaft, his men climbed, crawling through the city's veins like ghosts in the dark. By dawn, the gates were flung open. Jerusalem was David's, the city of the king. And so, in the heart of Israel, David made his throne. A city of stone and faith, where Yahweh's name would one day dwell forever. The shepherd had become the king, the fugitive had become the ruler, and with Yahweh's blessing, David's kingdom would rise like the dawn, strong, unshaken, eternal.